Well, Northern Ontario, folks, has a lot of things that we expect. Lots of trees, lots of open spaces, and just a great, nice air out there. Anyway, certainly a lot, not as stifling as the Southern Ontario air we have. But something that you may not notice here up in Kapuskasing is Fromagerie Kapuskasing, which means it's a cheese factory. And I thought, this was odd, so I thought I'd do some investigating. And quite a lovely little spot here. Actually, this used to be a house built back in the 1960s, but it's now a cheese place, and you're going to want to try this stuff. And we'll talk a bit about that in the next little while. So there it is, Fromagerie Kapuskasing, which means cheese factory in Kapuskasing. So that's kind of neat. We're going to go in and meet the head cheesemaker. And this is Francois. Talked to his dad yesterday, so I just said, I got to talk to this guy because sounds pretty interesting. And it's not like he's a 90-year-old guy either. He's a young guy just starting out. And I'll tell you, the cheeses that they have here are phenomenal. And you'll want to have a look at them. So just show you the names here that they've got on the go at this particular time. We're going to talk to Francois a little bit about things. Now, Francois originally went to China and wasn't looking to make cheese. However, Francois, just tell us a little bit about why suddenly cheese became important to you when you were in China.
Well, major reason is simply because there was a huge lack of it over there, so they don't necessarily like or enjoy cheese, and I could not find any. After a couple of months, I really needed my cheese, and then I decided to study it.
Okay. And where did you go after China?
After China, I went to Vietnam, and I was lucky enough to meet up with French who were basically producing cheese in Vietnam and have the experience of tasting some quite enjoyable cheese, which basically gave me an idea of what I wanted to make and how I wanted to go on from there.
Mm. Now, you studied in Canada, in Quebec, you went over to France, you got that, and then somewhere along the line you said to your dad, Dad, I want to be a cheesemaker and I want to open a cheese factory in Kapuskasing. What did he say to that?
Basically he said, well, he said that's great. And the second time we talked, he was much more open and enthusiastic. I think he needed to process it first. But yeah, my parents were very supportive and kind of enjoyed the idea of having a cheese factory in town.
Now, how long has this place been here now?
The cheese factory, we opened, we made their first process the 29th of June last year. First sale of cheese curds on the 3rd of July last year. But I mean, we haven't been selling for aged cheese for a year yet.
Well, that's pretty neat, and you're already getting a lot of accolades. Now, I noticed that I don't see any orange cheese, and I know Canadians and in the States you see lots of orange cheese, but yours remains, I guess this is white cheese, I guess is what we would call it, curds and different cheeses here. So how come you don't make orange cheese?
I don't see much of a point for the coloring, basically.
So orange cheese is just color?
Yes, well, if you mean the inside, yes. A crust does have some, there are some orange crusts such as the Oka cheese, which is not. But for any type like cheddar or orange cheddar, those are basically coloring which were originally made to distinguish the cheddar from the colonies, which the mainland, so Great Britain. And it was a way to distinguish and put added value to the cheddar from Great Britain originally.
I see. So Britain, Canada, the U.S. all have orange cheese because Britain wanted to have something to say, this is our cheese.
So yes, Great Britain did not have orange cheese at least originally, and Canada and the United States were colonies, therefore, yes, they were distinctive by that aspect.
Okay. So white cheese then is sort of in its natural state.
Yes, well, natural coloring, basically.
Okay. Now, a lot of people are now there's a renaissance, I think, in cheese, and I think you came into this at the right time, because a lot of people are now trying a little bit nicer cheeses. They're getting away from a lot of cheese and crackers and meats, but they still like to sample their cheeses with their wines, and they like to have really full flavored. So a lot of people are trying different things. So why would someone want to try what you have developed up here? Give us your claim to fame.
Okay, well, one of our big advantages here in this area is we are allowed to get milk from one source. So we do have milk from one farm, which means one taste of milk. They are fed the same things, etc. That's a huge advantage, which over most cheese factories in Ontario, at the very least, which is a mix of multiple milks, of course, except farmers' cheese. The second aspect is we have no additives. So the milk is simply milk. It's not added products. Of
Not a
course,
lot of chemicals.
no chemicals or no added. Like I know that there's a milk powder which is often added. So it's leftovers from the cheese production in United States, oftentimes, which moves to Canada and is added to decrease the price of making cheese. The last aspect, of course, is I consider I make it well. So I guess that would remain for people to taste. I do have them available on my website for a description. So if people want to have an idea what it is, and it's at fromagerie Kapuskasing at .ca. Sorry.
Okay. And they can go on the website, have a look at it, and then they can order. And then you'll ship out starting in the fall, like September. And so, a lot of people may not want to make the 10 or 11-hour drive up here. It might be worth it, but maybe not. But just to get some cheese, but you can ship it out, and we will be doing that in the next little while.
Yes, well, at least when the temperature goes down. So if, as I mentioned, maybe September, but if the temperatures in September are very high, it would not be an option. Of course, if you want to come by, you're always welcome. I always find it's a great opportunity, but then I would recommend having other things to do at the same time, so not coming up for the cheese factory only. So, but the Northern Ontario is beautiful, so why not?
Okay. Well, thank you for letting us come in this morning and check out the cheese place. I just want to get a shot of the name back here so people can have a look at it. So again, Fromagerie Kapuskasing, cheese factory in Kapuskasing. And Francois is the head cheesemaker, and he's got something neat on the go here. So